Most people compare markets the wrong way. They compare returns. They compare opportunity. They compare which market is cheaper. Capital compares something else. Capital compares friction, because friction determines whether returns can be captured, repeated, and scaled. This is the core difference between US markets and Nigerian markets. The US is not better because it is richer. It is better for capital because outcomes are more mechanical. Nigeria is not worse because it is poorer. It is different because outcomes are more conditional. And capital wins where outcomes are mechanical. Let's define what that means. A mechanical market is one where rules are stable enough to model, liquidity is reliable enough to exit, and enforcement is consistent enough to assume. A conditional market is one where returns depend not only on business performance, but on access, timing, and system behavior. This is not moral, it is structural. Now, why does capital prefer the US? Because the US offers capital three things: repeatability, scalability, and optionality. Repeatability means a process can be run again. In the US, if a strategy works once, you can replicate it with reasonable confidence. You can buy. You can hedge. You can exit. You can re-enter. Even when you're wrong, you can reposition. That matters. In Nigeria, many strategies work, but they do not always replicate the same way. A successful outcome can be followed by an unpredictable one, not because the underlying businesses changed, but because the environment changed. This is what capital hates, not risk, but shifting rules of engagement. The second reason capital prefers the US is liquidity as infrastructure. Liquidity is not just volume. Liquidity is the ability to turn an asset into cash without negotiating. In the US, exits are mostly procedural. You click, you sell, you settle. That procedural exit is a form of insurance. It reduces the cost of being wrong. It reduces fear. It increases position sizing. In Nigeria, liquidity is often episodic. It's present at some times, thin at others. Exits may require waiting, timing, or accepting price impact. This forces capital to behave defensively. Capital reduces size, raises required returns, or avoids duration. So even if headline returns look good, effective returns are discounted. The third difference is currency as a hidden tax. In the US, most investors enter and exit in the same currency, so the investment result is mostly the business result. In Nigeria, the investment result is often business result plus currency result plus access friction. This is where many comparisons fail. A Nigerian asset can outperform fundamentally, but still underperform for foreign capital if conversion is delayed, or if exit timing is uncertain, or if the currency move dominates. That doesn't mean Nigeria can't win. It means Nigeria must compensate for this structural layer. Now, the fourth difference is the one most people ignore: the legal and administrative time premium. Capital prices time. If enforcement is predictable, time risk is lower. If enforcement is uncertain, time risk rises. In the US, dispute timelines can be long, but the process is relatively legible. In Nigeria, the process can be legible, but outcomes and timelines can be harder to model. Capital responds in a consistent way. It demands a higher return or it shortens exposure. This is why you often see short-term capital in, short-term capital out. Not because Nigeria is unattractive, but because duration carries additional, unpriced risk. The fifth difference is information and verification. In developed markets, verification is institutionalized. Audits, filings, and disclosures create a shared baseline. In Nigeria, informational edge is often local. Context matters more. Relationships matter more. Verification costs more. This raises the due diligence bill. When due diligence is expensive, fewer investors participate. When fewer investors participate, liquidity stays thin. When liquidity stays thin, capital refuses to size up. This is a cycle. The sixth difference is policy surprise versus policy change. All markets change. Capital can price change. What capital struggles to price is surprise, a change without warning, a shift in access, a new interpretation of a rule. Surprise is not just a government problem. It can come from systems, from institutions, from infrastructure constraints. But capital reacts the same way. It withdraws, or it requires higher compensation. So where does capital actually win? In the US, capital wins through compounding, indexing, and repeatable strategy. It wins because the market is built for scale. In Nigeria, capital wins differently. Capital wins in Nigeria through selectivity, timing, and structure. It wins by choosing opportunities where cash flows are real, exits are planned, and exposure to system friction is limited. This is why Nigeria can produce spectacular wins, but fewer durable, repeatable ones. And this is the most important line in the comparison. US markets reward systems. Nigerian markets reward operators. In a system market, you can be average and still win over time. In an operator market, you must be adaptive, because structure is part of the game. The mistake is copying strategies across environments. A US strategy assumes liquidity, currency stability, and procedural exit. A Nigeria strategy must assume timing, friction, and conditional exits. Capital actually wins when it respects this difference, not by chasing the largest upside, but by minimizing the costs that kill repeatability.